Hey guys, and welcome back to the Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter card game review. Today's game up on the tabletop is an interesting one called Partition. Partition is a game for 2 players, but you could play more depending on the types of games you have, because it is a tournament style game. And it plays with 3 other games because, like the box says, this is about as standalone as half a helicopter would be. So you need to have more games than just this to play the game. However, you don't have to have all of them, but in a tournament setting, it's definitely nice. Now currently we only have 3 games to show you, but there might be more coming in the universe. In this game, it's kind of going to be a sports style game in which you're going to be playing FPS games or maybe a MOBA style game, and even a game called Deckhand, which is like a card game which you're playing back and forth kind of thing, so it feels like a LCG kind of thing. But in the game, nevertheless, you're going to be getting different heroes. Now, maybe you're going to have a gamer girl or a gamer guy as the basic, or you could perhaps go ahead and create your own team. And you'll be doing that by getting money, and this whole game is going to be involved around seeing what events will happen to your team, getting new teammates to join you, buying new equipment like maybe this 2-bedroom apartment, or having a gaming tutor help out one of your guys, so on and so forth. Then you're going to go, after you do all that, you're going to go ahead and play one of the games, and here they are. This one here is called EOH, this one here is Incursion, Point Zero, and finally Deckhand. All 3 of these games are standalone, can be played by themselves, or with use of this Partition, which makes it the tournament style setting game that it is. After you've gone ahead and made your team, you're going to choose a game to start with, and then the winner is going to then get a certain amount of money, and you're going to go back to this game, play another game, go back to this one, so on and so forth. Anyway, let me show you what you get included in the game Partition, and how it's going to work in conjunction with all the rest of the game boxes. So here we are to the game Partition, and as you can see here, you got a bunch of different gamers, you got a bunch of different items or uses that you can add to your characters, and then over here is the events deck. Now there are different types of gamers based on how much they're going to cost to recruit. These are 50k, 75, 100, and 150k. The game's also going to give you money chits that range from 25k up to 75, and there are 2 characters you can receive on the street. Basically, if you don't have a character that you need to game with, you can go ahead and recruit one of these guys. However, if you don't have enough characters to game with even after getting one of these, you'll instantly lose, so you got to make sure you have the right amount. Every player is going to start with 150,000 bucks and 2 gamers at 50k apiece. The gamers are going to have different stats on them, and as you can see here, WASD, Wisdom, Dexterity, X Factor, so on and so forth. They're each going to have their own unique stats, and each stat is relevant for each type of game, as well as what characters these guys are going to be playing. Some of them even have special abilities. Now, most of the 50k ones do not. However, when you get into the bigger ones, like this guy over here, he's a lane farmer. If this gamer is placed in the same lane as a minion card rush in a MOBA battle, they get +3 dice. So this is specifically used for one game type of the 3, but in a tournament setting, that can be very useful. Now, yeah, you got your 2 characters here, and at the beginning, you're only going to need these characters. However, money is scarce in this game, and you need to make sure you have enough players to be playing the game. You'll specifically need 5 different characters, so saving up money and making sure you just don't spend them all on upgrades is important. Now, to start with, each player is going to roll a die based on their highest X Factor value. This guy's got 2, this guy's got 1, so he would roll 2 dice and he would roll 1. 4 up is going to be a success, and anything less is going to be a failure. There's 1 success from each. I would assume you're just going to go ahead and re-roll. There's 2 successes onto his 1, so that would mean he is going to start off. Now, he's got his money and he's got his characters, but the first thing you're going to do is take one of these cards here. This is an event card. You're going to flip it over. Here, Patch Day. Patch Day is here, and there are so many changes, it's hard to say what strategies still work. All gamers are now -1 wisdom for the next tournament. This is actually an event that will stay there forever, and all gamers are going to have -1 wisdom for that specific tournament, so that's an interesting aspect, whereas other ones might do something else. So after he draws his card, now the next player in turn order will draw their card. This one says 100k subscribers. One of the gamers hits 100k subscribers, and so they're going to get 25 extra K bucks. So you're just going to go ahead and give this character an extra 25,000. And then in turn order, they're going to buy things. They can buy gamers, or they can buy equipment. When they buy a gamer or an equipment card, they're then going to take it and replace it with a new one. If you want to take a piece of equipment, you're going to pay the cost on it. So this one here says it's basically a strategy guide, +1 wisdom to a character. You spend 50k, and then bam, you can put wisdom on a character. You can only have 1 equipment per character, but you can switch them around before the games begin. Also make sure to flip over a new card for the next player, and the next player can go ahead and buy, and they could also choose to buy maybe a character here if they want. They can take one of these guys here, and that's going to cost them $100,000. And yet again, another character would get flipped over and put on the board. And people are going to continue buying until somebody says they pass. After that, next player does the rest of his purchases, and this portion of the game is over, and in which case you're going to choose between one of the 3 games in the tournament based on what you're allowed to choose, because the first game has a specific games which you can play, second and so on for the third. Let's explain that above. All right, so we're back up, and let me tell you, well, when you start with the specific types of tournament you're going to be doing, it's going to have a class to each of the games. Like, for instance, this one here is Deckhand, and it has a class 1 to it. This one here is Incursion Point 0, which is a class 2, and EOH, which is class 3. Now, you're always going to have to play for the first game class 1. Which is just this one here for right now, because there might be more games added. And then for the next one, class 2 or 1 you can play. You can play one of these 2 for the second portion of the second game. And then finally, for the third one, you can choose any of these 3 to play. But you're going to be playing 3 separate games, whether it be this one 3 times, or 1, 2, and then 3, or 1, 2, and then 3 in the middle here. It's up to you how you want to do it, but it's going to be based on the classes, and you're always starting with a Deckhand here first. All the games are different, and I'm going to explain that in a separate video. If you're interested in checking out how any of these games are played, go ahead in the description below and find out how they are used. Nevertheless, though, if you already know how to play these 3 games, all you're going to do after playing this game here is find out who wins. And then the winner of that game is going to get a certain amount of money, and the loser will also get a certain amount of money as well. And you're going to go back down into the next phase of the game, which is going to be on the board, where you're going to be buying things back and forth with each other, and then until you play the next game on the chopping block. And that's kind of going to be up to you, whether it be Incursion or Partition or Deckhand, or even EOH. For a basic idea of these games, Deckhand is going to be a game in which you have certain locations to move up and down across. It's kind of a tactical style game, and you're only going to need a couple characters to play the game. Whereas Incursion Point 0 is going to be a tactical style attack versus a defense game. One player plays as a terrorist, the other player plays as the attack team, which is trying to defuse a bomb. You need to get your character on the bomb point without any enemies being there, and the enemy is trying to stall you from being able to stop the detonation from the bomb. And finally, EOH is kind of a MOBA style game in which you're trying to play characters down. All of your different heroes have a specific gamer, and you need 5 gamers to do all 5 heroes. You're going to be placing them down in different lanes to try and take over different points. If you can destroy their last point of interest, which is a tower, you're going to win this game. After you have played all 3 of the games, you can determine who wins the game by looking at who won the last game, which is generally going to be EOH, but it could be any of the 3, right? Whoever won the last game is the winner, and that's because it's all mounting up to that last tournament aspect. And after that, you can go ahead and play another tournament, or you can do a double tournament. You're also able to put 2 teams competing, so you can have 2 players and 2 other players, and they can play back and forth. It's kind of like a cross-section tournament, or maybe even elimination. This game has a lot of variety as for how you can set up how many players you're playing with, depending on how many of the games you have. Now, like I said before, you can play with any of these 3 games by themselves. If you don't have the gamers or characters, you don't have to use those. You can simply use a simple 3 stat, or it works in some way where you roll dice or something like that, and you can make the stats up yourself. But otherwise, each game comes with their own gamers, and Partition comes with the additional gamer girl and gamer guy, so that you can add them to your teams. So that is the basic idea of how you set the games for Partition, and the basic aspect of the cards and how you're going to be buying them, going back and forth, preparing for that final tournament. Let's talk about a couple of the cards and a couple of the different gamers and how they work with the games. So let's get into the action cards now. These are the things that affect, or like event cards that affect the game in certain ways. Sometimes going to give players additional money, take money from them, or affect the next round of gameplay. And it could be negative or positive for you. Here's one, Indie Tournament. One of your gamers wins an indie tournament, get 50,000 bucks, pretty nice. A Diamond Gun. One of your gamers is the first to unlock a diamond weapon skin in Incursion Point 0, +1 dexterity in all FPS matches. So this one specifically only works for one of the 3 types of gameplay. A charity event t-shirt. One of your gamers competes in a charity event and insists their commemorative shirt is not only stylish, but it is full of good karma, +1 X factor. A server crash. One of your team services seen better days. Many of them while not on fire, so you lose $50,000. Digital debt, win trading, being hacked, dogs, swatting. Ooh, gamers have been facing that for a while. Team drama, so on and so forth, right? There's quite a few events, a big deck full of them. We didn't even get through a small portion of this in the first tournament we played of the game. There's also a bunch of gamers, and the gamers are going to differ based on how much money you're spending on them. The more money, the higher stat value. The more money, the higher likelihood of a good bonus. For instance, you got Navar over here, and he's a top decker. Once per CCG match, this gamer may play a one-cost card for free. Basically playing a free card in the game. Pretty solid, plus all of his stats are at least 2 or better, and most of them are 4s. And then you got Valority. This one says this gamer gets +1 automatic success to any X Factor based roll, and usually X Factor rolls is going to be determining who goes first and that kind of a thing. It's a very useful skill to have +1 on. Then you got the even bigger ones over here. This one here is Death Dagger, one of my personal favorites. He is a rage quitter. He gets +6 die in MOBA matches. However, if he's removed from the match, his character is killed 3 times, he quits and he's out and you're done playing with him. Lord Shadows over here is a team captain, and allies in different lanes of this gamer in MOBA matches get +2 additional dice. And +2 additional dice actually means taking 2 extra dice to your roll and throwing them down. And then, of course, you've got stuff like the smaller guys here. This one here is called Political Reference. And so it has the gamer name on top, and the bottom is the character's name, so Leticia Herrera. And it says, despite being fluent in 3 languages, Leticia likes to mess with broadcasters by pretending she can only speak in misremembered movie quotes. And her skills are very low. But you're going to need those characters, even if they're lower, because it depends on how much money you're going to be making, because you want to have enough characters to play each and every game. But that's a basic idea of what you're going to be getting in the game. There's a plethora of different items you can buy. First edition Red Master from one of the games, a private game server, private voice chat, dueling monitors, collector's edition postcards, test server access, deckhand booster packs, and so on. These are going to be used to put on your gamers. Super cool though. And you always want to be winning matches, because the more you win, the more money you're going to get up until that last and final match. And once you've done that, you are the successful champion of Partition. Alright, so let me tell you what I think about this little addition to the game, well, the main portion of the game, Partition, in conjunction with the other 3 games and how it works. So what do I think about Partition? Well, first of all, this isn't technically a game on its own. It's like a sub-game, a semi-game. It's attached to the other 3 games, and that's kind of what's important. How well does Partition work as a whole? In my opinion, this portion of the game is excellent. I love the fact that after I'm done playing a game, I'm going to receive an award, and with that award, I'm going to be able to do something with it. It's not just winning the game, it's also winning the game and using that win to succeed in other games you're going to be playing, because all 3 games are different. When you're playing the 3 different games, whether it's EOH, Incursion, or Deckhand, and they can make more of them too and just add different classes, and you can kind of choose the games you want to play. Set up the tournament prior, so that way when players are buying their heroes, it's going to give them a benefit as to know what games they're going to be playing and which characters they're going to pick up. All the characters have different abilities and have different uses, and while one's character might not be good for one game, it's definitely going to be good for another. That being said, there are some characters that are extremely powerful. Death Dagger, which is my favorite guy, this little red-headed dude here, he is so powerful in the MOBA game. He's got +6 die to all of his rolls, and that is super strong for that game. And he's not only that, he's got great stats. However, he costs 150,000, and I got lucky because I was winning a lot of the matches I played, so I was able to purchase the better heroes. That being said, you don't necessarily mean it doesn't mean you're gonna win just because you've got the best heroes and stuff like that, because you still need those successes, and that comes with additionally buying the different portions. So these little guys here, the cards that the inventory or whatever you want to call it. And also the events, right? So I guess also another way to look at it too is you're only going to be using maybe 6 event cards in the game, and you're only going to be buying maybe total between you and your competitive partner 6 characters, maybe somewhere around there, as well as picking up maybe 10 items at max. So you're not going to be using a whole lot of Partition in it on its own, but that gives it a lot of replayability, and it gives you enough content for you to play over and over again with different strategies. Different characters are going to pop up, and you're going to be able to use them for different games. You're going to find your favorites pretty quickly, and you're going to figure out which game among these 3 is your favorite as well. I'm not going to talk about these games specifically because I have different videos for each of them determining how well they play, as well as a little how-to, and whether or not I enjoyed them. But I think this specific game, Partition, in conjunction with these games, works amazing. I haven't played a game so really like this before, where it has this like intermissionary period where you're putting a team together to play, and the theme works really well. You feel like your team is getting in their characters and fighting against another team. How awesome is that? The game's gonna give you chits and cards. The artwork is solid. I don't mind it at all. It does feel like you've got characters and they're kind of with their like little stances and whatnot. When I look at like Blizzard, League of Legends kind of thing, I see the tournament players. These guys feel like that, and there's a ton of diversity in the characters as well. It's going to have something for everybody, and all of the names, the little different AI names and whatnot, are pretty funny as well. Overall, though, Partition as a whole is a super cool theme, super cool little game, and this portion flows really, really well. I would definitely suggest checking out this and getting at least one of the other games to have some fun with. Alright guys, thanks for watching another Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter card game review. If you like this video, go and check out the other videos here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment. It all helps and we do greatly appreciate it. Also, go ahead and check out Partition, currently on Kickstarter, or not soon to be, along with the other 3 games. EOH, the Incursion 0.0, as well as Deckhand. 3 really interesting games where they all kind of combine together. And also go ahead and check out our website, unfilteredgamer.com. We have tons of blog posts, giveaways, Kickstarter lists, all that good stuff currently on there, as well as 3 different giveaways going on. You can win some dice, coins, you can win some games, a bunch of stuff, as well as checking out our friends, everythingboardgames.com, the giveaway geek, and my personal friend Ferdinand, the cardboard stacker. He does a bunch of tutorial videos for Kickstarter games. Alright guys, that's all I got for this time, and as always, I look forward to seeing you next time.